Hello, this is Imagination. I have decided to just sit here on my ass and describe what I'm feeling like while I do this. And I feel like a ship. Everything feels like a ship to me. I feel like I'm on a ship and I feel like I lost my heading because I've lost all definition of love. And I'm going, okay, everything that I thought was love was narcissism. That's a really good way of putting it. Everything I thought was love was narcissism. There, which is why it's so fucking clever. And I'm going, okay, all right. And I'm going, well, I got my self-love. This is why you need self-love, because narcissism can't touch it. I feel good about that. It can prevent it. In fact, that's the whole point, is it completely breaks down self-love. Because if you have self-love, then you can look at narcissist love and go, A doesn't match to B, because you need a point of relativity. See how this keeps coming back in on itself. I have self-love. I have self-love. So let's figure this out. What is love? Well, love is value without gain or profit. To value without gain or profit. I have no desire to run. This is the first in my life I've had no desire to run. Usually this kind of disorientation, and I'm going, I need to run away, and it's just not there. It's gone, which feels really good. The paranoia is gone. Like I'm feeling it, and I'm like, there is no, what about, yeah, I wonder if I can have trust now. I wonder if paranoia, a lack of trust, was getting in the way of my actual trust, self-trust. So I can understand where love is definitely like self-centered. It has to be first. What I'm struggling with now is all of these terminologies in our society, which doesn't even apply to me because that doesn't apply to me. So maybe I shouldn't concern myself with it. Well, you know what? I'm going to use this time to tell you about my doctrine, because my doctrine is maybe what I need right now. So my doctrine is basically, I have my circle of trust. And it's simple. Either you're in it or you're not. This is really black and white. Well, actually, it's you're in it, you're being evaluated for it, or you're not in it. So you're in it, you're under evaluation, or you're out. And that's it. So I have some people right now who are under evaluation. I have other people who are in it, and I have other people who are out of it. Now, what determines if I can trust someone determines on how often they violate my boundaries. If they never violate my boundaries, there you go. If they respect me, if they are gentle and they handle me with care and kindness, these are all the things that I say, yes, you are allowed in my circle of trust. The problem is with narcissism, I was violating my own laws, my own ethics. I was not holding myself to the same standards that I was holding everybody else. And that was my problem. That is something I'm contending with now, is my guilt. This is the real feeling of guilt. When you violate your own ethical law and you're holding yourself accountable. You really want to know what accountability is? It's guilt. But most people cannot experience it until the fifth. Well, no one can feel it until they've accomplished the fifth ethic and they're in the sixth ethic. That is what you learn. So it's not possible to feel guilt until you reach the sixth ethic. It's just not possible because you don't have accountability. Accountability is the ability to weigh your self-honesty with your intentions against your ethics. And if you can't do that, you're not going to have ethic. You're not going to have guilt. You're not going to feel bad for doing something to hurt others I don't know. I don't know. No, you know what? I take it back. I take all of that back because no, guilt is definitely not the same as accountability. Because I'm thinking of several examples now where people have not learned accountability, but boy, do they feel bad when they hurt an animal by accident. So in addition to the circle of trust, I go by, does it feel right? Does it feel good? And does it give you joy? And a lot of people have come back to say, I don't know what feels good. That's because your calibration is off. Does right, I look at intuition on that one. Good, I look at identity on that one. Same thing with joy. And then I have these levers where I have a level of intimacy, I have a level of value or care, and then I have a level of dependence. So I can have a high value of care, high level of intimacy, high level of dependence. Dependence as in reliability, not dependence. Reliability, not dependence. So their reliability might be through the roof. I value care for them through the roof, and the level of intimacy is also up there. So those are the things I look for. And it fluctuates. And those are things that once you're in my circle of trust, that's when I start looking at intimacy, value, reliability. And again, it's either there or it's not. There are no labels. There are like friendship. I don't use that term. If you're in my circle of trust, you're in it. You could almost say that people inside my circle of trust are just, they're inside my circuit or they are inside my network, same thing. And we can work on business. The thing is, I don't really let anyone inside my circle of trust unless we're working on a project together. If we're not building something together, then it's like, why are you here? And it has to have purpose. And that's it. If you don't have purpose, I don't let people into my circle of trust. So that's a huge thing, is what's the purpose? And without a definition of purpose, that's where I think that's where a lot of people use labels for relationships to determine what the purpose is. But the concept of using purpose of, well, we have a relationship and therefore the purpose is to nurture the relationship. I'm going, that doesn't sound right. That sounds so illogical. So for me, it's like, what are you building together? What's your project? What are your aspirations? And you come together and you work on the project and then you part ways, but you have to have purpose. And there is only one person in my entire life who is the exception to this. And that's what confuses me, is he's in the circle of trust. I talk to him every day and I'm going, but there's no purpose. Like, why are you here? What's the purpose? And that is exactly what confuses me, is there's no purpose to him. There's none at all. But he's in the circle of trust and I talk to him every day. And I'm like, why? So that confuses me. But everyone else in my life, we're working on a project. We're building something together. We have a reason to come together. We are working towards something. So I can go, okay, I get that. And that's it. That's my entire doctrine. That's it right there. Like easy peasy, 1, 2, 3. Does it feel right? Does it feel good? Does it give me joy? And if I allow them into the different levels of my circle of trust, depending upon if they violate my boundaries or not. If they never violate my boundaries and we're building something together and they handle me with gentle kindness and vice versa, then I allow them into my circle of trust. Now, I can let someone into my circle of trust, but whether or not I'm in theirs, that's up to them. And then it's okay, now that you're in my circle of trust, now I've got this 3-point system of what's your reliability, what is the amount that I value you, and what's the level of intimacy. And that's it. That is all of it. That's all of it right there. And also, what is our purpose? So that's it. That's my system. That's my entire relationship diagram. That's my doctrine. So, and then a lot of people confuse the layers of trust with boundaries. Oh, well, you've earned the third level of trust, therefore you don't have any boundaries. That's not true. Boundaries go around your comfort zone, and they go around your buffer zone. So you have your genie bottle, your comfort zone, and then you have a buffer zone, and then the boundaries go around that. And those boundaries never change, and no one should ever be in your buffer zone. So yeah, no one should ever be in there. And maybe that's just what I need today, is I need to just go into my genie bottle and sit and go, what is love? Why am I still asking this stupid question? Well, love is value without gain or profit. I don't trust my feelings. The feelings are always right. No, they're not. Yes, they are. This is why narcissism is so dangerous, is because it literally takes love and twists it. Love is an emotional prosthetic. That's what narcissism is. It disguises itself as love. I've been calling it an emotional prosthetic, and it's not. It's an emotional. Narcissism is an emotional prosthetic in the disguise of love. And it hides itself. Where did it hide itself? Fear, limiting belief, fear. Love is being saved. If he loved me, he'd save me. Love is being saved. Love is saving others. Wow. Jesus saves. Oh, those fucking dirty bastards. Wow. Wow, that is so fucking dirty. Love is being saved. Love is saving others. That is the limiting belief. That is the one that I removed yesterday that made me see. I was able to finally get down into the love is saving. And I went, oh my God, click. And it just released it. And it went, now codependency is being needed. See the difference? Oh, this is dirty. This is it. And I was thinking about this the other day. I didn't say it yet, but I was thinking about it. I had a thought yesterday where I went, son of a bitch, it's like there's a logical fallacy buried inside a logical fallacy. And there is. It was love is being saved. And then inside of that one is codependency, which is love is being needed. Now, I figured out the love is being needed, and that broke the codependency. But I had the narcissism still in there. That's why the narcissism was definitely like the borderline personality was gone, but I still had something in my head. And I'm like, what is this? And it was the love is being saved, or love is saving. And then love is being needed. Love is needing. So that's codependency with narcissism. And that's how it's like twofold. And I was so focused on the being needed that I wasn't looking at the other logical fallacy, which was being saved. And what ends up happening is you are in save them mode so much, you're in superhero mode so much that you end up depleting your own energy until you get to a point where you don't have it in you anymore and you need saving. And it's like, that's that damn archetype of Jesus saves and then be like Jesus. So you walk around saving people. You emanate the superhero. And then you save so much. And that's super mom. That's what that term is. And then you save so much that you become depleted and you need saving. This is fucking disgusting. I learned also today that it's called Nicean Christianity. That is literally the name for it. I put the source on my website, Nicean Christianity, because they legalized Christianity in like 325 AD CE, but then they turned around in 380 and they came up with the Nicene Creed of Nicean Christianity, and they changed Christianity. And then right after they did that in 380, the same fucking year, they destroyed Alexandria. 380 CE is when they destroyed Alexandria. So 325 AD, they legalized Christianity. And then 380 CE, they declared the Nicene Christianity. And the problem is Nicene Christianity. That's the problem. So, and that's where I established there's a huge difference between Christian spirituality and then Christian religion, Nicene Christianity. And that's where you see the Jesus saves, which puts you in that mindset of, oh, we have to be like Jesus. Well, I have to save other people. And that starts you in the loop of being self-sacrificial. Like it just keeps spiraling and spiraling, and I can see it. So I feel empty. I feel like a clean slate, like a blank page. And I'm going, what's my story? And that's what it is. This is the feeling of disorientation, is I've lost my backstory. I have no backstory. And I'm sitting here grasping, going, what's my backstory now? It's empty. It was fake. My backstory was fiction. And that's what I'm dealing with, is my backstory wasn't real. It was fiction. And I'm trying to figure out what my backstory is, my past. So it's disorienting because I literally have like, there's nothing there. Good God, it started when I was 4 years old and I needed to save the animals and I couldn't. I've had this since I was 4 fucking years old. So in my entire existence, I've had only 4 years where I was free of this shit. And I remember New York. I remember New York. She's mine. All right, we have something stable that I can grab. New York City. She was stable. She's there. She's mine. All right, so New York is real. Yes! Yes! New York is real. All right, we're good. We're good. The city is real. I feel fantastic about that. I've got some reality in me. New York is real. Okay. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel safe. New York was real. My obsession with New York for 40 years, that's all me. That's me. All right. I love New York. That's love. Oh, okay. I love New York. I'm stuck on this romanticism crap. It's the glorification of being saved, being rescued, and how much it's just been rammed down our throats. And I have this huge, please don't save me. Like, no, don't save me. Don't. And I don't trust myself. I don't trust my words, because now I'm going, so it's the words and the emotions that are used. It's words with intent. Words with emotional intent. And And I remember when I was 15, I had this argument with myself for like a year. I feel evil. I feel dirty. I feel bad. And I had so many people going, oh, no, you're not bad. And I'm like, no, really, I feel something inside of me. And that was it. I could feel the manipulation coming into me. And I didn't want it around people. And I was trying to protect people so I would run away. And now, and I got so used to it. And that's it. I used to call it pagabamos, pagabamos. It was just this random Spanish word, pagabamos. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, pagabamos, pagabamos. But it was a word that my friend and I in high school created to describe that feeling. And that feeling was just pure and total filth and shame. And it was the feeling of manipulation as it was literally working its way into me. And I believe that's the feeling of narcissism when it starts to creep inside. So I would say I was 15 when it officially started to twist into me. That's when the desperation hit, even 13 to 15. And I remember I struggled with it for like a year, a solid year. And every time I tried talking to somebody about it, they were more concerned about reassuring me and making me feel better about myself than helping me. And now that I've been able to identify it and say, oh no, I was manipulating. And that confirms with what I felt when I was 13 to 15, but I couldn't identify it because what we think manipulating feels like isn't what it actually feels like, not on the giving side of it. But I knew it was wrong. Something deep in me knew it was wrong. That's what was wrong. Like it was violating my ethics, you know, and I could feel that. I'm sitting here manifesting with everything. And when it comes to my partner, I only manifest his healing, nothing else. And it's because I don't want psychological manipulation. With narcissism, your intentions are good. With narcissism, your intentions are good. And that's what blew my mind away more than anything with all of this is my intentions were good. And I was terrified. I was terrified of losing my love story. Because I thought, if I don't have my love story, what else is there? And that really was it. The love story defined me. And that's it. The love story defined me. And I just didn't want to lose the love story. And no matter what he did or how he moved, it was just an adjustment to the love story. And I was constantly tailoring the love story because God forbid I lose that. And then when it was all done and said, I went, that was never love. That was narcissism. It was a narcissism story. It wasn't real. And it's just this horrible, I don't even know where to begin with this. And I don't know what to feel. I feel habit. And I think things like, should I cut him out of my life for X amount of time period while I adjust? And I don't know. And my first thought was, well, do you not trust yourself to set boundaries? Yeah, I trust myself. I definitely can trust myself. I know I can set boundaries. Absolutely. Like I already have done that. That was like one of the first things I did is I wrote down, okay, this is how to get it out of you, is these are the boundaries. And I defined the boundaries that I needed. And I'm like, all right. And now I've got this one thing that I constantly check with now. Are you saying that because you are hoping for or looking for a desired response from him to measure his love affection for you? Okay, constantly checking. So I'm sitting here and I'm going, okay. And it's the disorientation. It's the blank page. It's the, if I don't have this love story, then who am I? So go back to the philosopher's compass, redefine. I'm on my ship. I still have my heading. I definitely have my very clearly defined heading, which is why I'm doing this podcast. And I've got my now. It's just the past that's missing. And I'm going, great, well, what's my story now? And the hardest part is that was the best part of my life. That was like the best part. That was my most happy. And it's gone. And I'm going, okay, it wasn't even real. And that's really what I'm grieving. Is the best time of my life wasn't even fucking real. And that's the grief. And I'm looking at it going, was any of it real? And that's the real sick. Is I'm just scanning over the last 2 years going, was any of it real? Or was all just this sick? And then another part of me is going, hey, but you have a clean page. Now you have a future to look forward to. Yes. And then every time my head goes back to the fiction, the story, the love story, I'm going, no, it's not real. And I'm going, all right. And I wish it was. Maybe the love was real. But maybe the dependence on it wasn't. Love means to value without profit or gain. And we lost everything, stripped right down to nothing. I get nothing from him. No comfort, no anything. And I guess that's the question is, if you have an emotional prosthetic, can you actually truly love? Is it an either or? Or is it an and? And that I don't know. No, I do know. I do know. This happened to me once before. I do know. pissant. I had him as an emotional prosthetic and I did not love him. And after the cleansing, after I purged it, it was instantaneous. Well, it was also the morning after I was an altar. It was literally the morning after my altar was birthed. And Joanna didn't love him. So I woke up the next morning, just no love for that person at all. Yeah, that's when I switched. Literally, it was night and day. I became somebody else and there was just no love. I went from loving him for 3 years to like nothing because I switched. I was somebody else. Yeah, that's the question I'm asking. Do I love him? That's the question I'm asking. Do I love him? Not loving him makes me sad. Why does not loving him make me sad? Because I do. There it is. Oh, thank you, physics. Thank you, math. Not loving him makes me sad. I love loving him. And there is no why because it's love. There needs to be no reason. And I just gain absolutely nothing from him. I just value him. And that I think was really what was upsetting me and scaring me was it real? And I'm like, I can feel this thing being purged from my head. And I'm sorting out the love from the narcissism. And that's what I'm doing as I'm sorting out the love from the narcissism. Narcissism is not at all what we thought it was. I have guilt for hurting him. I feel disgust. I don't know which part is the narcissism And which part is the love? Yes, I do. Logic, Anna. The fear is the narcissism. The fear is the narcissism. And the paranoia and the trust. The lack of trust. The control. Anna, you know it's the fear is the narcissism. But the love is the joy. I see. It's self-love. Self-love is removed. Defense is removed. Trust is removed. Problem solving is removed. Wow, this is scary. And self-love. Oh, self-love is projected onto the partner, the savior. Oh, that was hard to figure out. So self-love was projected onto the savior. Self-love is projected onto the savior. Wow, that's clever. Wow, that is fucking clever. Self-love is projected onto the savior. Wow. Wow. So narcissism is just the fear. Which means you have self-love, you have love, and then you have fear. And you're supposed to keep the fear down. And you're supposed to keep your defense system, your boundaries up with self-love. And then you have this love, the you of I, in this beautiful balance. But what they did was they ripped out self-love and they projected it over here. Literally, oh, that makes so much sense. Using fear to project self-love. They use fear to project self-love. Onto the partner. Onto the savior. That's it. They use fear to project self-love onto the savior. A savior is self-love. You are supposed to be your own savior. So savior equals love. But you're supposed to be your own savior. That's it. That's it. So when you become your own savior, you put it back where it belongs. And then your love goes back to you, the savior. You're supposed to be your savior. This makes so much more sense. That should fix it all. You just need to become your own savior. You have to get your own resources. You need to be your own fear system. You need to, or calm your own fear system. You need to self-regulate, self-discipline, all of this. Self-savior. That's the first ethic. That encompasses all of it. Self-savior. The self-savior equals self-love. But if you project the savior onto somebody else, you project the love onto somebody else. And that's narcissism. Oh, there. So that now I feel solid. So it does not mean that you don't love. It means that you don't self-love. That's all it means. The more I break this down in my head, the more I just condense it down to there's only one mental illness. There's only one. There's variations of it. And those variations then produce symptoms. But all of the symptoms can be condensed into those three categories of this one. I was not going to do anything with narcissism. I was not going to touch it. I was refusing to work with it. There is something called our logical health and our story health. My head. Wow. That is really fucking powerful. I had no idea that self-love was this powerful. Wow. I am going to get some food, watch a movie, self-soothe, self-comfort. Thank you for your audience, and may the kindest of words always find you.